Henry forgot. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Henry. Everyone called him Henry Forgot because he had a strange habit. He always forgot the things he had promised to do for others. But it wasn't that he forgot everything, just the things he had promised to help someone with, especially promises made to his family. That's why he was called Henry Forgot. One day, Henry's mother reminded him that they would bake an apple pie for the family. "Mom, I'll bake the apple pie today," she smiled and told him. But when she asked Henry about the cinnamon she had asked him to buy the day before, he froze and replied, "Oh, I forgot, Mom." That answer wasn't the first time his mother had heard it from Henry. Whenever it came to promises or tasks he had to do for the family, Henry was always the first to forget. Another time, Henry's mother asked him to mail a letter she had prepared, but he forgot again. "Where's the letter, Henry?" she asked. "The letter? Oh, I remember now. I forgot," Henry replied with a guilty look. He felt terrible but could do nothing but apologize. Still, this only made others more and more disappointed in him. Henry's family wasn't just his mother. There was also his father, his sister Elizabeth, and a small garden they tended to. One day, Henry's father announced that the government had ordered all families to grow more vegetables, especially organic ones free of pesticides. "We all need to grow organic vegetables to ensure good health. Luckily, we have a garden right at home," his father said. Henry nodded, but then he completely forgot about tending to the garden afterward. Even when given important tasks, Henry couldn't maintain his responsibilities. When his father went on a business trip, he reminded Henry, "You need to set a good example. Take care of the garden and remember to close the gate." But Henry only paid attention for a short while before slipping back into his old habit, forgetting everything he had promised. He forgot to close the gate, forgot to buy pens for his mother, and even forgot to water the plants in the garden. By now, everyone in the family was starting to worry about Henry. He wasn't just forgetful, he was also letting everyone down. But no one could have guessed that Henry's story would take a major turn soon. Henry and responsibility. The next morning, as the family prepared for the day, Henry once again faced reminders from his mother. After breakfast, his mother, father, sister Elizabeth, and Henry went to the garden to start planting vegetables. His mother told him, "You need to help me plant vegetables in your section of the garden. Take good care of it. Don't let the cows get in and eat everything." Henry nodded absent-mindedly, but in his heart, he just wanted to finish quickly so he could play with his friends. While the family was busy gardening, a letter arrived from the post office, catching everyone's attention. Henry rushed to the gate and received a telegram for his father. "Dad, there's a letter for you," Henry shouted, happily handing it over. His father read it and said, "I have to go on a business trip near the coast. It's urgent. I need to leave within the hour. You're in charge of the house now. Take care of the garden and other chores. Don't let your mother worry. You're old enough to handle this." Henry felt proud that his father trusted him with such responsibility. He was determined to do well and prove he could be reliable. But that confidence didn't last long. After his father left, Henry fell back into his forgetful habits. Despite his father's instructions, simple tasks slipped his mind. An hour later, his mother called, "Henry, did you close the gate?" But his only reply was, "Oh, I forgot, Mom." Later, his mother asked him to buy some pens from the store on his way home, but when he returned, he had nothing. "Henry, did you remember to buy the pens?" she asked, her voice full of disappointment. I forgot," Henry mumbled. Time and again, Henry couldn't remember the important things he was supposed to do for others. One afternoon, while looking at his garden plot, he forgot to water the newly planted seedlings. When his mother asked, he could only bow his head in shame. He couldn't explain why he kept forgetting these small but crucial tasks for his family. Days passed, and Henry remained Henry Forgot, the boy who always forgot his promises and responsibilities. Despite reminders and trust placed in him, he couldn't change his habits. This made his parents increasingly worried and disappointed. They wondered if he would ever grow up and become responsible. Henry and disappointment. A few weeks later, the family finally received the long-awaited telegram. "Lizzie, Henry, your father is coming home today," his mother said excitedly. We'll meet him at the train station at 5 o'clock. I'll make pudding, mashed potatoes, and cornbread for dinner, his favorite. Everyone was thrilled at the thought of his return after such a long absence. Before leaving, his mother reminded everyone to prepare carefully. Everything must be clean, the house must be tidy, and especially the garden. Make sure it's well taken care of. She looked at Henry and said, "Henry, remember to close the gate before coming inside. Don't let the cows ruin the garden." Everyone got to work. Elizabeth cleaned the house, his mother cooked, and Henry was tasked with tending the garden. But when they went to the train station to meet his father, they were met with an unbelievable sight. The garden was badly damaged, newly planted vegetables were trampled, and the greens had been eaten by cows. "Oh no, what happened to our garden?" his mother cried in shock. "Henry, did you close the gate?" Henry hung his head. I forgot, Mom." The family was deeply disappointed and frustrated. Their hard work, especially the organic vegetables they had planted for a healthier life, had been destroyed because of Henry's forgetfulness. His mother said nothing more, but her face showed clear disappointment and sadness. At the train station, they waited, but his father never arrived. "Mom, did we get the wrong train?" Elizabeth asked. "No, it was definitely the 5 o'clock one," his mother replied, confused. After asking the station staff, they realized there had been a mistake. His father had sent another telegram saying he would return the next morning, not that day. "Why didn't we get that telegram?" His mother asked worriedly. "Mom, I don't know. I didn't get anything," Henry stammered. Once again, he had let his family down. They returned home, sad and anxious. His mother tried to hide her worry, but it was clear she was uneasy about his father's situation. Meanwhile, Henry felt deep regret. He had not only failed in his duties, but also caused his family unnecessary distress. The next morning, the family woke up still worried. Henry's mother couldn't shake off the events of the previous day. She had spent a sleepless night, tense and exhausted. A headache kept her in bed. "Mom, let me make you some tea," Henry said, seeing her lying there, worn out. He wanted to ease her worries, even though he was the cause of them. Just then, a car pulled up outside. Henry looked out and saw his father stepping out. "Dad," he cheered. The whole family rushed to greet him. His mother, though trying to hide it, was still anxious. "I was so worried. Why didn't you come yesterday as promised?" she asked. "Why didn't you come yesterday?" Everyone stood there confused. "Oh dear, I sent another telegram saying I'd return today," his father replied, surprised. "Another telegram? But I never got it," his mother said, completely unaware. Henry saw the disappointment in her eyes. He felt ashamed for failing his family, and his father's scolding only deepened his guilt. "Elizabeth, Mom, I'm really sorry. I didn't know this would happen," Henry stammered remorsefully. "I didn't get that telegram, and I made everyone worry. I'm so sorry." He bowed his head, unable to meet their eyes. His father sighed, his gaze full of disappointment. "Henry, you've made the whole family anxious over avoidable mistakes. You can't keep living in forgetfulness like this." At that moment, Henry's friend John appeared. "Hello, everyone," John said, smiling as he entered the yard. "Henry, do you want to go on a picnic tomorrow? I'll bring food, and we can eat on the hill." Henry was happy at the invitation, but when he saw his parents' faces, he knew he had to change his attitude and actions. "Yeah, I'd love to," Henry told his friend, but turning back to his parents, he felt guilty. "I'll make breakfast for you and Dad, and I'll clean the house. I want to make up for making everyone worry." Yet Henry knew an apology alone wasn't enough. He needed to change, to become more responsible and stop hurting his loved ones. He realized that his forgetfulness wasn't just carelessness, it was a lack of respect for those who cared about him. Henry and change. Despite his remorse, Henry was determined not to let things continue this way. He knew a simple apology couldn't undo his mistakes. So, right after everyone returned home, he started working hard to make amends. First, Henry cleaned the house, organized neglected letters, wiped down furniture, and tidied everything. He wanted to prove he could be serious about responsibilities, not just live in forgetfulness. He even wondered, if I can change and make everyone happy, will they forgive me? After cleaning, he prepared dinner for the family, his father's, mother's, and Elizabeth's favorite dishes, ones he'd often heard praised. He wanted to do something special to show his sincerity and effort. I'll do everything I can, Henry vowed. So mom and dad see I can grow up and be responsible. He realized change wouldn't happen overnight, but the small steps he took now would build a foundation for trust. After dinner, he made an apology card for his parents and sister, writing, I'm sorry for making you worry and disappoint you. I promise to do better from now on. When the family saw what Henry had done, the clean house, prepared meal, and heartfelt card, they were moved. His mother smiled. Thank you, Henry. I'm so happy you've realized and corrected your mistakes. His father nodded, his eyes no longer disappointed but quietly proud. You've done well, Henry. But more importantly, you've changed and started taking responsibility. Henry felt a wave of emotion. He knew he still had much to learn, but he was determined never to forget his promises or responsibilities again. He understood his family's trust was precious and couldn't let irresponsibility shatter it anymore. From that day on, Henry was no longer Henry Forgot. He became Henry Care, a boy who remembered promises and cherished responsibilities. His family saw his change was genuine, and they forgave his past forgetfulness. Henry had matured, understanding that responsibility and trust were values to treasure and uphold. Henry and the final lesson. One day, as Henry sat in the garden reflecting, he felt a profound change within. He was no longer Henry Forgot, the boy who forgot promises and duties. He had truly learned the importance of care, respect, and responsibility. He no longer wanted to be someone who caused worry and disappointment. While tending the garden, a golden oriole suddenly landed and pecked his head lightly. Henry looked up, and the bird stared at him with bright eyes. Hey, what was that for? Henry exclaimed. But the bird didn't answer, just kept watching. Then the bird spoke. There's a big hole in your head, and everything you forget falls into it, never to return. Henry was stunned. A hole in my head? What are you talking about? Exactly, the bird continued. The promises you forget, the tasks you ignore, they all fall into that hole and are lost forever. You've done it many times, and now it's time to realize it. Henry listened, feeling a painful truth sink in. He remembered forgetting the garden, the gate, and chances to help others, all lost because of his forgetfulness. But I'll fix it, Henry said firmly. I won't let promises and important tasks be ignored anymore. The bird smiled. That's the right decision. Don't let that hole grow bigger. Learn to remember and honor your word. When you do, you'll bring joy and peace to those around you. After this conversation, Henry realized a vital life lesson. Responsibility wasn't just small tasks, but also caring for loved ones who trusted him. From then on, he remembered every promise and never let them slip into forgetfulness again. He became more attentive to others, always ready to help family and friends, and never let irresponsibility disappoint them. No longer Henry Forgot, he was now Henry Care, a boy who remembered promises and valued responsibilities. His family noticed the change and was proud. They knew he had become someone they could rely on. Henry and the final change. A month after Henry's resolution to change, his life was completely different. He was no longer the boy who caused worry and disappointment, but someone his family could trust and depend on. Everyone noticed the difference, from how he cared for the garden to how he kept promises and was punctual. One evening at dinner, his mother looked at him proudly. You've done so well, Henry. I'm so happy you've matured. We all make mistakes, but what matters is learning from them and changing. Henry smiled, happy his efforts were recognized. Thank you, Mom. I'll keep trying to do better every day. But Henry never forgot his lessons. He knew change wasn't easy and challenges remained. One day, his friend John invited him to the park for lunch. This time, Henry didn't hesitate. His new habit was prioritizing family and responsibilities. Thanks, John, but I need to help Mom today. I promised her. Another time. John was a little disappointed, but Henry felt proud of his choice. He knew the right decisions would bring better outcomes in the long run. At home, Henry helped prepare dinner and clean. He worked diligently and wholeheartedly. His mother smiled. You've really grown, Henry. I'm so proud of you. That evening, the family gathered for dinner, laughing and chatting. The house was harmonious and joyful, thanks to Henry's change. He was no longer Henry Forgot. He was Henry Care, a reliable boy who cherished and respected those around him. From that day on, no one remembered Henry Forgot. They only knew Henry, a son, brother, and friend who acted with responsibility and perseverance. He had learned that responsibility was indispensable in life, and through small daily actions, he proved that maturity and his family's trust were values he would always treasure.